Our goal for today is I can put 3D shapes together to make another 3D shape. Today we're going to make objects out of 3D shapes. I wonder what I can make with a cube, a cylinder, and a cone. Think about it a second, what could you make with just those three things? A rocket. You can see right here, this is the pointy part where it faces space, and then the bottom. What 3D shapes did I use to make this? Okay, well, this shape right here, think about it. Hopefully you realize it is a cone. So on top we used a cone, but then at the bottom, think about what that is. Is it a sphere, a rectangular prism, a cylinder, or a cube? Well, it's a bunch of rectangles in a 3D form, so that makes it a rectangular prism. What do we use to make? This looks like maybe an ice cream cone. Also looks like a golf ball on a tee. Think about the top shape. Hopefully you knew that that was a sphere. And then at the bottom we have a cone. What shapes do we use to make? This looks kind of like a barbell that you would lift weights with. Let's start with these two. Both of these obviously are the same shape. What shape is that? Obviously it's a sphere. So we use two spheres. This one in the middle is a little trickier just because of the way the picture is. But think about what would make most sense with these answers. Would it be a sphere? Well, we know those are spheres, so no. Would it be a cone? A rectangular prism? A cylinder? Or a cube? This one's tricky. Just because of the way that it's drawn, but I think that it's trying to be a cylinder. You just can't see the ends of it because they're attached to those spheres. If you thought it was a rectangular prism, I could see why you would think that. It looks kind of like that, but I think it's meant to be a cylinder. And what 3D shapes did I use to make? Up top. So the cone, a sphere, a rectangular prism, a cylinder, or a cube. This is like a really flat version of a cylinder, kind of like how a can of tuna might look. And then at the bottom, is it a cone, a sphere, a rectangular prism, a cylinder, or a cube? Sounds a little tricky. Okay, this is another one where the drawing makes it a little more confusing, but it's definitely not a cone because it's not pointy. It's not a sphere because it's not all the way round. It's not a rectangular prism because it's curved here. It's definitely not a cube, so that makes it a cylinder. See, this is a shorter cylinder, this is a longer one. So it's actually two cylinders. How do you feel about this? Using two 3D shapes below, draw a new shape that you can make. So it looks like they have a cube and a cone. Take a second. There's a couple of different ways you can put them together, but go ahead and put them together to make something new. And while you're doing that, I'm going to draw mine. Okay, so I put the cube at the bottom and then the cone on top. But again, more than one right answer, just however you wanted to put them together. What shapes can make a rectangular prism? So if you put them together, what would make a rectangular prism? Take a look at that a second. All right, well, let's look at each choice. A, well, there's no curve in a rectangular prism, so it can't be A. Once again, curving on that sphere, so couldn't be that. Well, let's look at C. Well, there's a pointy part of the cone. There's no pointy part at the end here, so it can't be C. And then, well, looks like it should probably be D, but let's double check. You have one rectangular prism, and then you put another one right next to it. You still have a rectangular prism. And obviously I could draw that a little better so that it looks more like a rectangular prism. But see, one next to another still have the rectangular prism. So the correct answer is D.